Yo, what up, everybody? It's your boy, Kenny, bringing you another recap. But we're not talking about Loki. We're talking about Star Wars, baby. From a galaxy far, far away, we're bringing you The Bad Batch, the latest animated Star Wars show that just premiered just about a month or two ago on Disney Plus. And I'm going to give you my overall thoughts of the mid-season. So the first 8 episodes in total. And as a big Star Wars fanatic, am I digging it? Yes, I am digging it overall. Now, I will admit, in the middle there was a little bit of a lull. It did kind of feel a bit fillery, villain of the week. Oh shit, there goes Omega again. But I gotta say, when it comes to the very first episode, the premiere episode, we're kicking off Order 66, and we're right in the thick of it, man. And we're introduced to not only our boy Kanan over there from Star Wars Rebels and his Jedi Master, I forget her name right now, but I'm gonna throw that in the video so y'all will see it on YouTube. So gives y'all podcast listeners a little incentive to run over to the YouTube page and check us out over there. But on the real, though, we're introduced to our main guys in the Bad Batch, and that's pretty much going to include Wrecker, Hunter, Crosshair, Tech, and Echo. Those are our boys from the Clone Army, the Bad Batch. And these guys aren't just badass in their own right as soldiers, but they actually have like what would be the right word? Chemical differences and actual scientific differences with their body and the way that they're able to get through all these like suicide missions, and they're able to overcome these great feats and almost fight on par with the Jedi. You know what I'm saying? And with their introduction in season 7 of the Clone Wars, that also showed you that right there. But getting back into this series, the Bad Batch are dope, man. They're really cool off the bat, but the one thing that sticks out in the beginning, and as we see come to fruition later, Crosshair ends up giving in to the programming in the inhibitor chips that are placed inside the brains of all the clones for all these years. And once Sidious kicks off the Order 66, he feels it immediately and turns on Kanan and the rest of the guys and says, oh, you're not down to kill the Jedi, then you're a bunch of traitors. So he goes full dark side. He's full on with the Empire, and that carries through the rest of the season, while the rest of our boys, you know, Hunter, Wrecker, Echo, and Tech, they run off and have to be on the run pretty much after the first couple episodes where they test with Tarkin. You know what I'm saying, Mr. Peter Cushing himself, and they get some testing with him, and they end up pretty much betraying them and going on the run and not giving in to the programming that is inside their head. And that all comes back around later, midway through the season here. But yeah, man, the first episode really tied into the overall Star Wars franchise and the overall saga, and it just fit right in like a nice glove, you know what I mean? It just fit like a nice pair of shoes. It just got right in there and kicked off with action, suspense, and even a little bit of thriller vibes that mixed in there as well. And then we get introduced to our kid who ends up running along with the Bad Batch, Omega, who is a clone herself, who is at the Camino facility, and apparently is a different type of clone, obviously, than the Boba Fett type clones, and even the Gen 1 clones like Captain Rex. So yeah, she's an okay character, and I have to admit that I wasn't really liking her in the first few episodes. I thought she was always kind of getting in trouble with the damsel in distress type thing, and always having to have someone go-get her, you know what I mean? I just wasn't really digging that. I'm not a huge fan of those type of characters necessarily. I like kids in movies, you know, Jurassic Park, whatever. But it just depends on how you write the kids, you know what I mean? The Losers Club and It, some of the best characters in a movie or anything in a long time, kids. The Sandlot from '93, all kids. So you can definitely pull it off, but I don't think they were quite nailing it at first here. But by the 6th, 7th, and the 8th episode going into the mid-season premiere right there, she definitely kind of comes into her own and starts to learn from her mistakes and listens to the Bad Batch when they tell her not to do something, and she's following instructions and not getting herself into trouble constantly. Now, the one point where she was getting into trouble and it was more understood and she couldn't necessarily avoid it all the way was when they ran into my girl, Fennec Shand, over there from The Mandalorian, played by the beautiful and talented Ming-Na Wen. And she pops in here with a little prequel flavor. She's really early on in her bounty hunting career, actually. And it was really cool to finally see that tie-in that we knew we were going to get from the trailer. And she was awesome. She didn't miss a beat. And I love the way that she actually played the character a little bit differently in this compared to Mandalorian, seeing as that this would be roughly 10 years, I think, after the events of this series where she pops up in Mando. So it was really cool getting to see Ming-Na Wen provide the voice and get to play the character in two different ways, while similar, still different. So I really enjoyed her and her back and forth with Omega, trying to earn her trust to reel her in and to get that bounty, and having to get away from her, and that whole chase with Hunter going after Omega and Fennec Shand with the floating bikes. And I like that whole planet and that whole sequence right there, reminding me of the beginning of Attack of the Clones with Obi-Wan and Anakin going after that bounty hunter that gets taken out by none other than a clone himself, Django, the original guy who they cloned from, who they made all these clones from. So it's pretty cool kind of seeing all these things really tie in and come around in a nice organic way, where if you're someone like me that's been a lifelong fan of Star Wars and you pick up on all these little details and similarities, it's awesome little Easter eggs and details that you could pick out, but it's not going to deter your enjoyment if you're more of a casual fan. So I definitely think that's a big plus with this show so far. All the tie-ins, the nods, the Easter eggs isn't distracting and definitely enhances your experience the more you know about Star Wars itself. But it's not going to deter your enjoyment, and I definitely recommend checking it out, y'all. But yeah, man, overall, I love all the characters, especially Wrecker. I really love him, man. He's a lot of fun, and I really like Fennec Shand's appearance in there. And the rest of the Bad Batch are fun, too. I don't have any problems with them or anything. Hunter's cool leader, you know what I mean? He fits that role. I like the Rambo look that they gave him. And Tech is obviously the brains of the operation. And I love his back and forth and just his witty banter and dialogue that they give that character. He's really cool. And overall, man, I don't have too many complaints with this, especially with episode 7 bringing in Captain Rex, and episode 8 really closing off the mid-season on a strong note with them having to go after Crosshair and the Empire because they finally got their hands on Omega, y'all. So we know what the second half is going to be all about, dealing with Crosshair and getting back Omega. So it's a really cool setup for the second half of the season, and it's off to a pretty strong start, man. Like, if you dig animated shows, check this out, y'all. It's over there on Disney Plus. Get the password, do whatever you got to do. Pay for the subscription. Come on, y'all. Free trials. You got a million different ways you can get access to this thing. So make sure you do it, man. I got to give the show I'll give it a 7.5 out of 10. It's very solid, very entertaining. It does kind of drag its feet a little bit, and I do feel like they did drag things out where this show could have probably been about 10 to 12 episodes. It does feel like they're drawing it out a little bit. But overall, I really enjoy the characters. It definitely fits into the Star Wars world perfectly, and I'm glad that it exists. And I'm glad that I checked it out, and I recommend y'all check it out. But before you check that out, keep checking us out, man. If you're watching us on the YouTubes right now, thank you for checking us out and supporting us through the video, looking at this pretty face right here. Click that subscribe, click the like button. Make sure you share us all over the social media pages. I got all that information in the description below. And make sure you check us out on the podcast feed. If you need something to listen to for your drive, for your commute to work, if you're a delivery driver, whatever, throw us on. Spotify, Google Podcasts, we're all over the place. Look us up. fandom frequency. This is just the beginning. And stay tuned, y'all. We're going to be bringing you more recaps of Loki. We're going to be giving you the whole rest of the Bad Batch season, episodes 9 through 16. That's going to be coming at you within the next month or so. Whenever the season's over, you're going to get that. And we're also going to be giving you a mid-season recap of My Hero Academia within the next week. So make sure you keep your eyes on the page. That's going to be live real soon. And until next time, thanks for checking us out once again. Much love, y'all. Peace.